Right, let's talk about the mindset shift that actually changed my body and my life for good. Because I used to do what I'd imagine most people do. I'd get motivated, I'd go all in, I'd smash my training, I'd eat clean, clean up everything, I'd track everything perfectly, and it would last for about 10 minutes. Then life would happen. I'd miss a session, I'd have a weekend away, I'd go off plan, and my brain would just tell me what your brain's probably telling you as well. And it would just say things like, well, I've ruined it now, might as well start again next Monday. And that cycle continued for years. And that cycle is the reason most people never get lean and definitely don't stay lean. And it's not because you're lazy or you don't care. It's because you've built your whole system and approach around short-term bursts of perfection instead of looking at the long-term thing. So here's the mindset change that absolutely fixed this for me. I stopped treating fat loss like a temporary event. Now, this is the biggest one I felt helped me. Most people treat fat loss like a phase, like something you do or undo the damage of your life. 6 weeks, 8 weeks, a holiday, a wedding, and then just get back to normal. But the problem with that is that if normal is what got you out of shape, you just can't go back to it, can you? So I stopped asking myself, what's the fastest way to lose fat? And I started asking myself, what can I do that I could still be doing in 12 months' time? And then that's when everything got so much simpler, mate. It was unreal, because the answer's never train 6 times and eat like a monk. The answer is usually something like train enough to see progress, eat in a way you can live with, don't eat like a dickhead, get your steps in, have a plan for the weekends, and repeat it. The next thing was I stopped aiming for being perfect and I started aiming for some minimum standards. Now, this is the part that people hate because they think it's lowering their standards, but it's not. It's just being realistic. So minimum standards are your baseline that you hit even when your week goes to shit. Because if you can stay in the game during messy weeks, you win long term. So my minimum standards became very, very simple. 2 to 4 training sessions per week, depending on how my life was looking. Protein 2 to 3 times per day. Daily movement was usually in the form of steps, and then there was some basic guardrails at the weekend, and that was literally it. And what's mad is that when you nail those basics, you start feeling better. When you start to feel better, you do more things. So you get the benefits of the high effort without forcing it. The mistake is trying to live at 100% perfection all the time, because no one does and no one ever will. So stop building plans that require you to do that. The next thing was I stopped negotiating with myself every day. Now this one is big as well. Most people wake up and decide every day whether they're going to do the basics. And when you make it a decision, you give yourself the option to talk yourself out of it. So I made it automatic. Training days were in the calendar, locked in. Meals were structured so I wasn't guessing all the time. And steps had a target, and the weekends had a few rules around them. Nothing extreme. I don't believe in extremes. They were just normal rules. Things like 1 anchor meal a day at the weekends. Protein and veg, job done. If I'm drinking, I'm matching it with a glass of water every time. And I'm walking every day, no matter what. And that removed the should I conversation. You don't raise the level of your motivation, you fall to the level of your systems. The next thing was I changed what I believed fat loss actually was. Now this is massive again. This is where mindset gets really real. I used to think that fat loss was about suffering. Like if I wasn't hungry, if I wasn't miserable, if I wasn't thinking about food all the time, I wasn't doing it properly. That's absolute bullshit, by the way. Fat loss should feel boring. Not easy, because it's not, but it should be calm. Because if your plan feels chaotic, your adherence will be chaotic. The goal is not to see how much you can punish yourself. That's the problem here. The goal is to create a setup where fat loss happens while you live your life as well. So I stopped doing stupid things like over restriction and then binge eating, and I focused on predictable habits. Protein, whole foods most of the time, some flexibility built in, and calories that were generally sensible. Next, I learned that confidence comes from evidence, not motivation. This is the final mindset shift, and this is the one that ties all of this together. Most people try to build confidence by hoping they feel differently one day, or to tell themselves they're disciplined. But confidence is proof. It's a stack of receipts in your favor. Every time you do what you said you'd do, you build self-trust, you build confidence. Every time you break promises to yourself, you lose self-trust and confidence. So instead of making massive promises like I'm going to change my life next week, I made small promises and kept to them. So 2 sessions this week, 10-minute walk daily, protein at breakfast time. Just get those 3 things done. Then you stack those wins for months on end. And eventually you become the type of person who just does it, not because you're special, but because you've got evidence. So what do you do if you want to drop body fat forever? Well, I'm going to give you a simple starting point right now. Step number 1 is to choose your minimum standard. Could be 2 workouts, protein, 2 meals, walk every day. Step number 2 is to remove 1 decision. So repeat your breakfast, rotate 2 lunches, just stop second guessing. Step 3, build weekend guardrails. 1 anchor meal per day. If you're having drinks, getting boozy, match it with water and keep the steps in. Number 4 is to stop restarting if you mess up. You do not punish yourself. You reset at the next meal and carry on. You don't miss twice. That's the real mindset shift. Not hype, not motivation, not extremes. Just a long-term strategy you can actually live with. And if you do that, your body fat won't just drop, it will stay off forever because you're not on a diet anymore. You're just living like someone who looks after themselves. That is literally it.